Good evening and welcome to tonight's show from DJ&TV, Disc Jockey News TV. Tonight's show is brought to you by Electra Voice, DJ Event Planner, DJ Trivia, Odyssey Innovative Designs and Cases, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and the DJ&TV Insiders. Hey, this is John Young with the Disc Jockey News. Today we're going to be looking at what the Apple announcement today will mean for DJs, because there are really about three different things that were talked about in today's event here, the WWDC19. Basically, it's a week-long convention for Apple, different Apple programmers and coders and software creators, whatever. It's a big week for them. And then the keynote was this morning. Today, it was noon Central, 10 o'clock Pacific time. And there were three things. There were a lot of things talked about, and you're going to go hear that. But I wanted to talk about those three that were specific for DJs. So the first one everyone's been whining and crying about, and yes, that's what you have been doing, was the whole Apple Music thing. Apple Music, they've taken iTunes. Yes, they're killing iTunes. They've taken iTunes and they're dividing up taking the podcast side and putting it over here. They were taking the video side and putting it here, and then they're bringing the music out of it. For those of you who use iTunes, you found that it's kind of a cumbersome beast because of all these different things going on. Taking it apart was like, yay, it's about time. I'm just going to say it. It needed to be done a long time ago. So it's great that they're going to pull it apart, and now we're going to be able to have the music that's going to be managing in many ways the same way. But there's a few small changes, and I wanted to show you, this is the screen where they talk about a service as far as paying for the monthly service. I pay for the monthly service. I pay for the family version of this because I like to have the ability to stream, because they've got some pretty cool stations and such with Apple. And I like the ability to access a ton of music on there. If I need to, I can basically access it and play it if needed for a certain situation. But not everybody likes that, and I get that. That's fine. You can do what you want to do. Go to Spotify. I've got the account there. You've got to go to Amazon, whatever. You're going to pay eventually somewhere for your music. You can still buy music. That is still going to be part of the process. You can buy it. But if you look down this chart here, they've got, of course, depending upon if you're a student, individual, or family, you've got 50 million songs. I mean, that sounds like a typical DJ thing. You know, hey, I've got 50 million songs for your event. Yeah, right. Okay. But the cool thing that you're going to be able to do is, if you have one of these accounts, is you can actually download the songs and listen to them offline. For some of you, this is going to be a way to be able to fill in some library holes. You have your account. You've got your subscription, and you're going to be able to download some older songs that you can't get anywhere else, and you're going to be able to have access to that. On a regular basis, it's going to need to log into iTunes, or I should say into Apple Music now, and it's going to be able to verify that you're still a subscriber, but you're going to be able to keep those songs on your device, and you'll be able to utilize those with different software, because a lot of the different DJ software we use can play protected Apple songs. That may change in the future, but as of right now, we can still access and play those. We can still buy songs if we need to also. You can access them across your different devices and such. I wanted to go down to one of the interesting things that they have changed to here is the ability to share songs via you purchase a song and to be able to share that with the little touching of the phones or something they showed in today's event. That's going to be something that's going to be of interest down the road when people have got a song on their phone and they want to go and play, or have you play that. And it may get to the point where you have two phones and it's like doink, and then you can share it, and then you can maybe use Air, Air, whatever it's called. Yeah, whatever it is. But you can airdrop it to your computer. Those things may be coming down the road, not something to be aware of. But for now, the big thing is that Apple Music is just basically being divided out from the other things. It's still there. It's still going to do the different things. You're still going to be able to manage all your music in the folders and such, and it's going to have a little bit better, from what they were saying, integration with the Genius and suggestions and things such as that. That should hopefully be better for those of us who are mobile DJs. So this was the first one. Now we're going to go to, let me see, I think this is my second one, because there's three. The third one I think is going to be the biggest one. This is probably almost as meaningless to a point, but it still is something to know about. is in the Apple Watch, there is now something called a cycle tracking that's happening for women's cycles to be able to track that. Why is this even something I'm mentioning? Is because you're going to eventually find this on your dance floor, especially if you're doing bars and clubs, where people are going to be talking about this ability to, on the old single hookups thing. Yeah, this is going to become a real part of that discussion. That yeah, I'm safe, that kind of a thing. You're going to find this out there. Just be aware that it's going to exist, and cycle tracking is going to become part of our lexicon as we go forward, because Apple has it on their phones, they have it on their watch, they have it on their phones, and it's going to become part of that discussion as we go forward. So cycle tracking was another announcement today for the new iOS, or the new operating system for the watch. The final thing, and I think this one's the biggest one, is they're coming out with a noise app. The noise app basically is going to be something on your Apple Watch again, that's going to tell you when you're in a situation where the noise is too loud and you could potentially have hearing damage. Why this is going to matter to us? Well, because most of our dances are played way higher than the 90 decibel that they showed today. If you look on these three images, loud environment, sound levels at 90 decibels around 30 minutes at this level can cause temporary hearing loss. These things are going to become a real factor on our dance floor, I think, as people have their watch and they're going to get a buzz and they'll be like, oh, look at it, it's too loud. Now we're going to have people coming up to us and say, it's too loud, we've got to turn this down, and we're going to have to deal with this. How far this will go is going to be my biggest concern. Will this get to the point that you have people coming up and saying it's too loud, and now they're all of a sudden they see that we're at 100 and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have hearing damage after 15 minutes. And then the next day they've got the ringing of the ears. Will there be people coming back and saying, the DJ caused some hearing damage on Saturday night, I'm going to go and I'm going to sue him? I could see that, because now they've got this watch that they can point to and say, hey, my watch said this was hearing damage, it was too loud. I told you it was too loud and you didn't do anything to fix it. And now you're going to be responsible for my hearing damage. Think about that. That could literally happen with this, especially if you've got 4 or 5 people on a dance floor and they're all comparing our watches. Our watches are all saying it's way too loud here. How this is going to fit into the DJ realm. This is something big. Don't just blow it off. The noise app that Apple's coming out with the watch could be something that really changes the dynamics of our dance floor in loud environments, because there's that whole side of lawyers and what they can do with that information when you have a group of people that can all prove that you were too loud for a safe listening environment. And then, of course, you've got some people, but yeah. So the three things, you've got the music being separated, which I think is a good thing. You've got the cycle tracking, which is just kind of a little interesting thing, but I think that could have an effect on our society going forward. And then the noise app, which I think is going to ultimately have the most effect on our dance floors as we go forward. So those are the three big things from today's event here from Apple. Hopefully you guys got a chance to check it out. And if you did, you found out there's a lot of talk about some high-end things that probably have absolutely no meaning to most of us. But there were a couple of things there you should check out. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV. Thanks for watching.